So, will you just give me time to brief us about the routes?
Morning everybody. My name is Barry. Working for African Parks, as Director says, for managing two of the key parks for South Sudan, where we are trying to conserve and to establish the two national parks. We've been on the ground for about 14 months at the moment, so it's still very early for us. We started from scratch, so we've got to develop the parks right from the beginning. All of the roads, infrastructure, network, the aviation side of it, everything has to be done right from the beginning, and we've had a lot of help from the Ministry of Wildlife and Tourism. And that is part of what we're going to do today, is to try and show you some of the key species and some of the importance of the wildlife in South Sudan. We did a big collaring exercise last year in March, where we put collars, tracking collars onto a lot of animals. 126 different animals, from elephant all the way down to some of the little gazelles. So we can actually track and monitor a lot of where the animals are, which is where we're going to go today. I'll give you a map, and we're going to go and try and find some of the herds of animals and try and show you just the sheer numbers and how spectacular the wildlife is in South Sudan. The key migratory species are white-eared cob, which we will see, tiang, which we will see, Mangala gazelle, the whole reedbuck are the main migratory species, and there are some of the sedentary species as well. Unfortunately, the sedentary species are threatened because they do not move, they're not part of the migration. So any time that you've got the animals living statically in one area, it's easy for poachers and so on to approach them and to kill them, unfortunately. But the migratory species are unsurpassed anywhere in the world. South Sudan has the highest number, and I'll say that off the record, but South Sudan has the highest number of wildlife of anywhere in the world. It really is spectacular, and hopefully today we'll be able to show you some of that and give you an idea of what we're talking about in terms of the sheer volume and numbers of animals that are out there. So that is our key function as African Parks here, is to protect that migration. It's by far the world's largest migration, and our role over the next couple of years is to protect that. So our route will start in Juba. We'll go over where we've just started building our headquarters called Bedingula headquarters. We won't land there, but you'll see the runway and you'll see the big hangars that we've built. From there we will route northwards into Bedingula National Park, hope to find some tiang, and then up the Nile River into the Sud area a little bit, so you can get an understanding a little bit of the Nile and the complications of the Sud. And it's a whole separate conversation to have regarding the pollution of the Sud and so on. This is a conversation for another day. Then we will fly over what we call Lucy, which is part of the Jonglei Canal. I'm not sure if you guys have if you know of it or anything, but there was a canal that was built with a huge big digging machine to try and bypass the Sud, taking the water around the Sud into the top of the Nile. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on which side of the fence you sit, that machine was destroyed in the war, so we'll fly over just to give you an idea of what the machine looks like. From there we will route across to the northern end towards Akobo, and then down towards the Guang swamps, where there are lots and lots of shoebill storks, a very endangered bird species. We will land in Nyat, where we will get onto two vehicles, and we'll be given a light meal and some drinks and so on. So we'll try and keep that as short as possible. Maybe if we can keep it to 1 hour, that would be good. It will inevitably be a little bit more, but we'll try and keep it as short as possible. From there we'll come down to Nimule, where we've got some elephant with collars on, and hopefully we'll be able to show you some of the elephant and return to Juba. I would expect that we'll be flying for 5 hours, more or less, something like that, and then we should return just around about midday today, maybe a little bit later. Any questions? Okay, can I pass out some maps that you can keep with you? Just so you can see where we're going to be.
Just follow the red line.
Est-ce qu'il faut le voir parce que pas fort? These are fine. You trust the lady pilot?
I'm telling you.
لو انت ما فوق ما الطياره بشيل 12 نفر هسه انا دلوقتي داوتنج انا كان قدرت اشيل كاميرا مان واحد واشيل الباقي
I will come to them all the way through, even for the lunch, and we can do another briefing if they've got any questions or anything in Yat. I'll go.
But in that we have to be very careful. We don't take our time, relax, because we have to come to Juba. We have to come back to Juba. So 1 hour, she said, is enough.
We will try to keep it to 1 hour.